Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am recording this video to add on to the series that I have done about learning how to do tarot. So it recently occurred to me that some of you may be also wondering and wanting to learn more about how to actually pull the cards and how to, shuffle the cards, pull the cards, and receive the messages, because of course that is something that's very important when conducting a tarot reading. And so I have, two different kinds of decks today. One of them is a standard tarot deck. It's got different, just plain edging, and the other one has gilded edging. And so basically, sometimes whenever I work with decks like this, with the gilded edging, they're nicer decks, they're maybe more expensive decks. You don't want to ruin the edges when you're shuffling, and so that's something to take into consideration, because there are different methods of shuffling your tarot cards. So let's get started. All right. First of all, we're just going to do a regular shuffle, and you're going to want to invoke your spirit beings and your spirit allies, whoever you believe is your spirit ally. For some people, it's God. For some people, it's Jesus. For some people, it's their guardian angels. For some people, it's their ancestors. For other people, it's the different deities, saints, angels. Whoever you feel called or comfortable with asking for assistance. For some people, it would be their higher self, their own inner knowing. So it just depends on what you want to tap into. Okay, so you're going to call on that being. Usually I ask either my benevolent ministering guardian angels, also known as cryptids. So those would be the benevolent angels that have been assigned to watch you and guide you. Or it depends on what I want to know, but sometimes I also ask benevolent ministering beings of me. So that would be like any other loved ones who have passed away, elemental beings that are offering assistance and guidance, other saints and angels. So, okay. Let's just go with benevolent ministering beings. Please assist me with conducting this tarot card reading to show my viewers how to properly shuffle tarot cards for our highest and greatest good. So you just do something along those lines, say a little prayer, shuffle. And I recommend that you shuffle at least 4 to 5 times. I was taught that you should shuffle 4 times to represent the elements, one for each element of air, fire, water, and earth, or 5 times would be including spirit. So depending on what you feel comfortable with. So personally, I like to shuffle, to pull the cards using this method, because the cards, the spirit beings will assist with the cards flying out. And so some people I have seen on YouTube, they will shuffle like this and then they'll just like pull a card. I don't particularly like to use that method, because sometimes your own inner, I feel like it's biased. Okay. So sometimes your own inner desires could trigger you to pull that card, is what I'm saying. So I know that there are some people who are very, very attuned to their inner knowing, and so they have been able to identify when is the right time to grab a card like that, or sometimes they'll just do something like this, right? For example. So some people have the ability to do that. They have different nudges and urges that they have tuned into that helps them identify when is the right time to just grab a card, for example. I personally would rather use this method just because as you can see it just I think provides a much more accurate and interesting reading. Okay, so another method of shuffling a card or selecting cards is that people will, and again, I don't particularly use this method. I don't use this method at all myself, and I don't particularly like it, just because of I like for the beings that I am asking for messages from to be the ones to assist with pulling the cards. I don't want to influence the reading myself by my own, gut, nudges or urges. But some people will they'll go like this. They spread the cards out like this, and then they will just, kind of grab a card like that, which whenever they feel is the right time. Again, I don't particularly myself like to use this method, but if you have tuned into your own ability to be able to determine when is the right time and the right location to grab a card. So, okay, let's move on to the next style of shuffling. And I am going to elaborate on that one a little bit more. Please clear this deck. Benevolent ministering beings, please assist me with clearing this deck. Thank you. Okay, so let's shuffle this beautiful gilded bee tarot. And benevolent ministering beings, please assist me with conducting this reading for my viewers to show them how to properly shuffle a tarot deck and how to select tarot cards for their reading. And I'm not keeping track of the number of times that I've shuffled, but as I mentioned, I was taught that you should shuffle at least 4 times. Again, you can use your own inner knowing on the number of times to shuffle when you feel that the deck has sufficiently absorbed the energy of the question that you are trying to ask and the answers that you're trying to receive. You also, if you're clairaudient, you may hear 5 times, for example, or, so you'll know to shuffle 5 times. Or you might, if you're clairvoyant, you may see a number in your head about the number of times you need to shuffle. For example, if you see the number 8 pop into your head, then, or if you have something nearby and your eyes are drawn to a number written somewhere, that could indicate that that's the number of times that you would need to shuffle that particular deck. So, all right. When I work with cards like this, I will shuffle the designated number of times, either the ones I will just decide to do 4 or 5 times on my own. However, if I receive any additional messages about needing to shuffle more times in order to receive the proper messages, I will do so. Okay. So I'm hearing 2 more. 2 more times. Thank you. Okay, so then what you do is you get your passive hand. So I'm left-handed, so I would get my right hand and I would gently just grab the deck and allow it and just lift wherever it wants to lift. And then you can pull your cards that way. And then the bottom of the deck. So that would be how you can conduct a reading if you have a gilded deck such as this, where you don't want to use this method to shuffle because you're afraid that you might ruin the edges. So this is a really nice way, and I have found that this is very accurate when you shuffle in this way. It's very strange how the deck will cut in different areas. So for example, when I cut the deck the first time, it cut like kind of towards the top. So let's cut the deck a second time just to show you all what I'm talking about. See, there it is. And so that's how you would conduct that type of a reading. Next, as I mentioned, when using these gilded edges, cards with these gilded edges, you could also spread the cards out, and you can indicate to Spirit to assist you with selecting the cards. Ask them to tickle your hand. Ask them to tickle your hand. Ask them to help you know the way. And so you can do something like this. I don't particularly like to use this method just because I feel like it's not, for me personally, it doesn't work. And I just really like to see the cards fly out. I think it's really fun. But yeah, it's hard for me to choose. I start to overthink it too much. But this is another way. If you feel comfortable with using this method and you are attuned to be able to determine which card you need to select out of the deck, it's a perfectly reasonable way to shuffle and to extract the cards from the deck. Here is another deck that is a really fancy, nice deck that I have that I got from Kickstarter, and the texture of this deck also makes it more difficult to shuffle because it has like a velvety sort of finish, and then it also has gilded edges. And so this is also another deck that I tend to use the cut the deck method. And there are other ways to do this method when you cut the deck. Okay, so I'm going to show you another one. Benevolent ministering beings of me, please assist me with conducting this instructional video to show my viewers how to conduct a tarot card reading for their highest and greatest good, please. Okay. All right. So you're just going to place this. You will cut the deck first. Here. Here. And then however method you like to do. So some people will cut the deck 3 ways and then take whatever is on the top. And I always like to choose the card that is on the bottom of the deck as the overarching theme of the reading. So this is a way that I have found to be fairly accurate when conducting a reading. It's a method that will help you preserve your more expensive tarot card decks that you may have. And so yeah, I just wanted to share that with you. Then when you're reading the cards, like this is a spread that I do as just a general overall, what do I need to know right now? And so you can read the cards a couple of different ways. The card that's at the bottom of the deck is the overarching energy or influence of the reading. In this particular case, we got 9 of Swords. And so this card has this deck, the cards have keywords. So this one says anxiety and worry. And so, and then you can choose to read it side by side and then also going down this way. And it will give you different messages because sometimes there are different underlying situations that are connected to each other. So for example, we have the 5 of Pentacles, which represents hardship and isolation. And then we have the Page of Wands, which represents good news and courage. So In conducting this reading, I could say that the individual has been experiencing some difficult times financially. However, there is some good news coming in, and to have courage in the situation. You may, and the person may have been isolating themselves. And then also going down here, we have the Five of Pentacles with the Goddess Ella card, which this card is unique to this particular deck, so I would have to look up the meaning. And this particular deck also has a digital guidebook, so I can't actually look up the meaning right now. However, intuitively, I am seeing that this card is saying for this individual to stand strong in who they are, in knowing who they are, in knowing where they come from, and in having a general idea of where they want to go. And that will help them overcome these obstacles and these hardships, as well as prevent the individual from over isolating themselves. And then going down here, we have the Page of Wands with the Nine of Pentacles. And so this is just reinforcing this message of the good news coming in, to have courage, to be faithful, and to trust in your knowing, because with the Nine of Pentacles, this represents prosperity, comfort, being able to support yourself financially, and being financially independent. So even though this person may be going through a difficult time and may be experiencing some financial hardships, or feeling, it may not be that they're necessarily, completely destroyed or ruined or anything like that, but they are feeling the crunch, right? Which can happen, certain unexpected bills, you need new tires or whatever it can, and then you have to spend money that you weren't expecting to spend. It can really put that pressure on you, where you start to feel the lack, right? However, this message is reinforcing and saying that not to worry, it's coming through. You are going to be able to support yourself. And so, so that is another way. Once you've got the cards pulled, you can look at them this way, like this. And again, so if we do the last two here, connecting Goddess Ella with the Nine of Pentacles, that is just reinforcing when you stay true in your knowing and you stand strong in yourself and who you are, then good things will follow, is the message. And it will lead to abundance and comfort, prosperity, and stability. And so sometimes, though, we can overthink these things. This is why this card is coming up, because the overthinking, the anxiety, the worry puts us, kind of reinforces this lack mentality, or reinforces this energy of lack, because we're worrying that things aren't going to come through for us. We're worrying about all the what ifs, and instead of focusing on the worry, the cards are telling us to stand strong in our knowing and who we are and the direction that we're headed. So I hope you all found this video helpful in learning how to pull the tarot cards and do a tarot card reading. There are also many, many spreads available on the internet. I think there's a website called riderwaitesmith.com where they have so many different kinds of tarot spreads. Often, whenever working with a particular tarot deck, the guidebook will also have spreads available. So let's see, for example, okay, so this is really interesting. This is a unique spread to this particular deck that was created. And this one is Phases of the Journey. So this one is actually a 21 card spread. And it goes from consciousness to society to individual to spiritual. And so this looks like a very, very in-depth and detailed reading. We also have a very simple 3-card spread here, 1, 2, 3. And you could either choose option 1, where do you stand now? What do you aspire to do? How to get there? Option 2, you have past influences, present situation, future possibilities. So that would be past, present, future reading. There's also Sacred Bee Adventure spread, your New Moon Tarot spread. And so there's many different types of spreads and readings that you can do. You can also create your own. Just write it down, create it, draw it out on a piece of paper and write it out. Write what you want each card to represent and the order that you would like to pull the cards in. And that's all you need. You just need to give Spirit some direction and they will assist you. So I hope once again that you found this helpful. Please comment below. Let me know if it helped you with conducting your readings, and I hope you all have a blessed day. Take care. Bye-bye.